So let's review what happened in the last 24 hours between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Many of you can recall from my last publication that the United States of American President Mr. Donald J. Trump categorically made it clear to the world at large after a supposed Iranian drones downed the United States of American Apache helicopter at the Strait of Hormuz. It was basically off the coast of Oman. I mean, Donald Trump, in one of the press briefings, said it was miraculous that the drone actually was launched, directly on that very Apache helicopter, but it didn't explode. So, but the two pilots managed to, eject from that very Apache helicopter, and they were subsequently rescued by the United States of American drone boat, which is a surface unmanned, vehicle you find on the surface of water. It doesn't actually have a human, captain or pilot. It's been remotely controlled or piloted. Now, after that very incident, Donald Trump said they were going to retaliate the attack as a matter of necessity. And indeed, in the night of that same day, that was in the last 48 hours, United States of America started raining air strikes, missiles down to Tehran. And the focus within all this while has always been around the Kesh Island, the Sirik, Bandar Abbas, and some other islands very close to the Strait of Hormuz, and then targeting the Islamic Republic of Iran's Air Force air defense systems and their radars. I will tell you why before the end of this video. So after that very attack, Iran also, in reciprocation, started launching an attack against Bahrain, against Kuwait, and against Jordan. All of those missiles were intercepted, but I can tell you that Iran, over time, we have seen evidence for that. Once they fire missiles, the next thing they will publish AI, videos to claim impact. In most cases, we have seen some of those video clips. So after that very exchange of firepower, Donald Trump, in a press briefing in the last 24 hours, maintained that, in assertion that he's getting tired of this back and forth movement in making a deal with Islamic Republic of Iran, that Iran is simply playing games, and for that reason, that he's going to hit them hard so that they will come down to the round table to sign a deal, that the deal is already there. It is waiting to be signed. And then after he said that, many persons thought that it was a joke. And before you know it, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who was in Cuba for some exercise, some training with the troop that is there, that is deployed there, flew back to the region, and immediately the exchange of heavy firepower commenced in the last 24 hours. United States of American forces launched a total of 49 BG-109 Tomahawks down to Tehran, with other bombing that was taking place from the United States of American fighter jets. And the focus of all of these strikes were the islands around the Strait of Hormuz, the Kesh Island, the Sirik, the Bandar Abbas, and some other, and they were targeting the radars, the communications, air communication systems, and defense systems of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, I will tell you why all of these things. And then immediately United States of America had concluded their attacks, Iran started firing missiles in retaliation down to Bahrain again, down to Jordan, and down to Kuwait. They fired a total of 20 missiles, ballistic missiles, down to Jordan, and they were all intercepted, according to the press briefing from the Jordan army, the Jordan military. So, when that was concluded, at the moment, the firing of missiles has come to a halt. Now, let me tell you this. But before I tell you why United States of America continues to fire this recent missile down to a particular spot in Iran, make una watch this video.
Retaliatory attacks on Iran is underway right now. We are told they began about 45 minutes ago. Earlier in the day, President Trump said the United States hit Iran hard yesterday and would hit it hard again today in response to the downing of a U.S. Army helicopter. This comes as the president reveals new information about what he calls a secret mission in the region. We've got Fox team coverage tonight. Aisha Hasdi at the White House has more of what the president said today. We begin, though, with our chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin, and details on tonight's strikes. Good evening, Jennifer.
Good evening, John. We've just learned that at 5:15 p.m. Eastern, that U.S. Central Command began carrying out airstrikes against Iranian targets. We've heard of explosions occurring at ports along the Strait of Hormuz and along the Iranian coast. We've heard that Kish Island has been hit, Keshem Island, as well as sites in western Tehran. Earlier today, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth visited Guantanamo Bay in Cuba and then flew to Tampa, Florida, to CENTCOM headquarters, where he was briefed on Iranian target lists by Admiral Brad Cooper. Hegseth spoke to reporters traveling with him and announced the U.S. military would be bombing Iranian targets tonight.
Those strikes that'll happen tonight will be strong. They will be clear. If they happen to happen tomorrow night, they will be strong and they will be clear. Central Command will be busy tonight because President Trump said we will be hitting Iran hard, and we will be. If we need to negotiate with bombs, we'll negotiate with bombs.
Hegseth then indicated that during the ceasefire, CENTCOM had been busy mapping new targets and also tracking the movements of Iran's leaders. He also claimed the U.S. actually controls the Strait of Hormuz after the president revealed that the U.S. military had secretly been escorting oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, laden with over 100 million barrels of oil in the middle of the night without Iran seeing them. Overnight, Iran fired dozens of missiles and drones in response to the U.S. strikes on 20 targets last night after an Iranian drone forced down an American Apache helicopter with 2 crew members on board. President Trump said it was a miracle they survived. He said an Iranian projectile lodged between the 2 pilots of the Apache and was on fire, emitting a massive amount of heat, but did not explode within seconds. The helicopter pilots brought the helicopter down into the water quickly. They didn't know if it would explode or not. Qatari negotiators were in Tehran today to try to convince Iranian officials to restart negotiations, John.
Well, we'll see if they have any luck with that.
Now, there is something that some of you, not all of you, that you do not have an idea of or you do not know. When this war was waging, don't forget that the crude oil price skyrocketed to about $120, $110, $105, and it remained around $199, $105 for a very long time. But as much as I have seen in recent weeks or in the past weeks now, oil prices has been ranging between $78, $79 to $80 or $83, which has brought down the prices of gas, because I've seen the prices of gas being coming down to $3 plus, which was around $4 plus earlier. Now, do you know why all of this, or why the prices of gas is dropping and why the prices of crude is dropping? It is simply because United States of America, the forces, the Marines that are conducting the blockade at the Strait of Hormuz, are secretly escorting ships, oil tankers, to pass through the Strait of Hormuz without the Islamic Republic of Iran even knowing, or without them interfering, under a strict guidance of their warships, their guided missile destroyers and all of that, which makes oil to flow, in the global economy, that the prices are not skyrocketing as it were earlier before now. Now, this explains why United States of America continues to launch barrage of attack at those islands around the Strait of Hormuz, Banda Abbas, Sirik Island, Kesh Island, destroying their radars and all of that, because they want to decapitate the IRGC hardliners from using their military assets in that island as a leverage in controlling the Strait of Hormuz or raining havoc at the Strait of Hormuz. So all this attack you see is to make sure ensure that at some point that the Islamic Republic of Iran will be completely decapitated, that they can no longer launch an immediate direct attack from the Strait of Hormuz. Maybe they will have the capacity from other locations, and if they have capacity from other locations, before the missile will arrive, then the chances of intercepting that missile becomes, very, very high than when it is fired at a very close range. You may not get a faster radar warning before the missiles arrives or the drones. So this further explains to you that even when Iran, the IRGC, is always shouting that we are shutting down the Strait of Hormuz completely, that no ship leaves, no ship enters, it is almost like an empty threat. Because if truly they are shutting down the Strait of Hormuz completely, like they have been threatening fire and brimstone for a long time now, oil price will still be around $100 and above. Or by now, oil price would have gotten to $200 per barrel, and that will skyrocket every other prices of commodities across the globe. But that reverses the case. And not only that, Donald Trump has also revealed that they are taking millions and millions of Iranian oil. So probably the over 137 oil tankers belonging to Iran that were heading to Iran or out of Iran that they redirected, probably those tankers have headed down to the United States of America and emptied their content under a strict supervision. That is what you see in a war. So at the end of the day, you see that, like I always opine, that actions and reactions will always be equal but opposite. The Islamic Republic of Iran's headliners, the IRGC, they are using the leverage they have at the Strait of Hormuz, which I've several times highlighted in this channel. But they are losing grip on that leverage day in, day out. They are losing that very grip. Even though the ability of the United States of America to collapse their grip on that very Strait of Hormuz is very costly with respect to military firepower. How much it costs United States of America to power most of their aircraft on daily basis, their aircraft carrier, their fighter jets, their warships, and all of that. So it is skyrocketing the cost of this very military exercise, but it is also achieving some of the objectives, because if they had not achieved some of the objectives by now, crude oil price will have been over $200. If truly the IRGC were having a chokehold, a serious, complete chokehold at the Strait of Hormuz, it would have been a disaster by now. But United States of American forces have succeeded in breaking loose that very leverage they had from when they launched that operation chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. And if they continue in this trajectory with this act of rascality, and the USA continues to launch attack on them, specifically at this island, a time will come when they will become powerless around the Strait of Hormuz. And possibly the next thing they might try to do will be, I've already highlighted that, will be to go and cut the telecommunication cable and the satellite cables that passes through the Strait of Hormuz, because they will always want to leverage on something. Either they leverage on something or they will start firing missiles to their Gulf brothers and sisters, like the way they are firing to Kuwait now, to Bahrain and Jordan. So that is the status of event going on currently at the Middle East. I know that time will come to this level, because the Islamic Republic of Iran is also looking for face. They don't want to publicly be humiliated or be shamed that they surrendered in the war, or that they give out their enriched uranium to the United States of America. It might signify defeat publicly. So these are some of the things they are running away from. It's not as if that the conditions are so terrible for them that they can willingly give out, their motive or intention for a nuclear weapon. They can do that with the devastating outcomes of this very war currently, but they also don't want to be publicly shamed or humiliated after withstanding, claiming to be a regional superpower now and having the capacity to withstand the United States of America and Israel. So That is where we are. Pride is currently part of the reasons why the deal has not been struck. It's not as if that they have not been heavily dealt with. Iran has been heavily dealt with, whether you like it or not. But everybody, they try form Jagaban at the end of the day. But let's see how it all goes in the end. I sincerely hope from my own end that somehow the deal is struck and all of this shenanigans comes to an end. And at this point, I want you guys to be the judge.